Yes, people, welcome back to the Shoestring Budget podcast. After a few days off, a few definitely needed days off, glad to be back in the saddle with Tom here. How you doing, Tom? Nice to see you.
Yeah, I'm all good. Nice to see you too, bro.
Good, man. Good to see you, man. And we're also joined somewhere in the ether. I know you can't see him, but you'll definitely hear him throughout the podcast. We have Dwight. Give a big shout out, Dwight.
Hi, folks. How's it been?
All good, all good. Thank you for joining tonight. So, obviously, now we didn't get to do a preview of the Chelsea game the other night, and I mean, what ended up being a real dramatic end to what was quite, I thought, a dull game. What did you guys think of that particular game? Starting with you, Tom, what did you think?
I think we could have won. I think we could have easily won with the chances that we created. But it's the same problem with United every time. They can't finish them off. But I think the substitute made by Potter, bringing Kovacic on, that was a game changer. That changed it all. Chelsea got straight back into it from then. But I think the penalty was one of them. It was you have to move on. But we still saw the desire to get back and get the point from it. So I'll take it. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and I think you touched on a really good point there, certainly with the desire to get back in the game, something that we haven't necessarily seen from Manchester United over the past few seasons. It was sort of like a callback to the Fergie era where even though you were a goal down, you knew they would chuck everything at it. And, I enjoyed seeing that. What did you think about that game, Dwight?
I mean, I just agree with Tom, really. It was just nice to see. I mean, over the last couple of years, when United went 1-0 down, it was like, that was it. That was the game done and dusted. We didn't want to win it back. We didn't. Ten Hag's implemented a similar style to, a similar mentality, should I say, to Fergie. I mean, there's been plenty of times where we've gone 1-0 down and, we've got that desire to get it back. We've got that desire to win that first ball, the first header, to win the game. And it's nice to see. I mean, I wasn't happy about the penalty, but it was just nice to see us fight for the draw again. I mean, overall, I think we should have won. We smashed them straight from the off. We just couldn't find the back of the net. And I think that's an issue we're having in a lot of games this season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was very apparent in the Newcastle game and the Ammonia game that followed as well, where we sort of just dominated for the whole match and then just couldn't get it over the line. Now, me and Kieran did a preview of that particular game, and he was really bigging up players like Kepa and just Chelsea in general, Graham Potter. Now, I think Potter deserves a good shout out for the change that he made, bringing on Kovacic after 35 minutes. Like you say, Tom, changed the game. We were overrunning their midfield, which, again, a positive. All these things are positives, and I know a lot of people will talk about Manchester United saying that we should be dominating every game, but this isn't the same Manchester United that we used to see years ago. We are in a rebuild, and it's nice to see that we're sort of getting somewhere with it. So yeah, kudos there. But I agree with you on the penalty as well. It was a little dubious. I mean, you see that in every match. You see that kind of holding. And every game you call for it to be a penalty, it never is, but it just had to be in this game. But Casemiro came up with the goods, inches over the line, it's all that matters. And yeah, we got a point. When you look at it, Tottenham and Chelsea coming away with 4 points from those two games, I'd take that any day. I think that's a pretty decent return. So now we're going to move on to this big game coming up in the Europa League against Sheriff. Now Sheriff has sat top of the Moldova Super League. However, this week they have actually parted ways with their manager. So they are currently managerless. And despite being 6 points top of their league, the Moldova Superliga. I know nothing about this league, can't profess to know. But yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting one. They are coming into this game on a loss, so they did lose against second place Petrocub 1-0, I think it was, in that game. Now, I don't know if you boys remember anything about that first fixture. There was only one player that really stood out for me from the Sheriff team, and that was Rashid. I thought he was very, very fast, had a good chance early on, and his pace can cause us issues, given our defensive troubles that we will talk about in a minute with injuries. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this Sheriff game, boys? Starting with you, Tom. What do you think? What are your thoughts going into this game?
I'm confident, as I should be. To be honest, I can't actually remember much of the first game that we had with them. But again, I think I remember saying we can never underestimate a team like this, because we did it with Ammonia and look what happened. They give us a scare. And especially with Sheriff, because they did the unthinkable last season or season before, I'm not sure, and beat Real Madrid in the Champions League. So it's like, it's one of them. I'm very confident. I think we'll win it easily. But I just some players that we've been seeing, because this is an opportunity for all the youngsters, for Dubravka, for Donny, so for them players, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm confident.
No, that's good. You did cut out a little bit there, so I'm sorry if we do end up bringing something back up in a few seconds that you've already said. Got a comment here from Asif Baba. Big up Asif, thank you for joining in the comments. What do you guys think of Stephen Thomas's resignation? Will it benefit United or not? So this is always a difficult one. I always find that when you play a team that has lost a manager, the players seem to sort of galvanise and perform. We saw it recently with Aston Villa. Obviously got rid of Steven Gerrard and then went out on the weekend and won by 4 goals. I think it was 4-0 without him. So I do think we are going to see... we could see a much more competitive Sheriff team. What do you think, Dwight, going into this game?
See, I think it's going to be a close game, not because of the opposition, not because of like the team. I think it's games like these, United crumble because they're expected to win so easily. Expectations get the better of them, because statistically and on paper you look at them and you think, on recent form, I mean, I don't know much about Sheriff, so I'm not going to say I do, but really United should be beating them. But it's games like these where United draw or lose because of that expectation. I think it sort of goes to the players' heads, like, yeah, we should be beating them, we will beat them, sort of thing. So I'm not really looking forward to it. I'm not saying we will lose, because I can see us winning, but it'll be a very tight game, and I'd probably say 1-2-0 max. But I don't know. It's games like these that we crumble due to expectation, I think. It's like Newcastle. I know we had 2 goals disallowed and stuff like that, but we should even... Yeah, and it's games like that we're dropping in points because we're expected to win them. And it's those expectations that I think United crumble under, because I think it goes to the players' heads like, oh yeah, it's such and such team tonight, we should win. Then go out and get the win, not just assume that you're going to win.
See, I do think you're right in some ways. I think when you look at the Ammonia game in particular, that was a game that a lot of people predicted was going to be a walkover in terms of the scoreline. It ended up being a 1-0 last-minute winner from Scott McTominay. But when you look at that game, we did dominate. We created a whole host of chances, and it was down to a combination of poor finishing and world-class goalkeeping from Uzoya. So... yeah, I must admit, under Erik ten Hag, I'm a little bit more excited. I do think that there is a mentality shift in the squad, but I do kind of get where you're coming from in regards to that. So, Sheriff currently sit 3rd in the table in this Europa League. So, I'm gonna quickly bring up our fancy new table here. So, yeah, Real Sociedad currently sat top, 3 points ahead of us, and Sheriff are below us by 6 points, so no worries there. Now, the biggest thing here is obviously trying to get that all-important win to keep us on Real Sociedad's level. Now, if we don't qualify, if we don't beat Real Sociedad, things could get really bad for us in terms of fixture congestion, and we could be looking at sort of a whole host of games leading up to the World Cup and just after it. How important is How important is this game, do you think, Tom?
I think it's very important because, regardless, I think you still want to go out there and win the group. Even if you still qualify when you come in second, you still want to show that you're about it and win the group. Who doesn't want to win the group? So I think every game's important, no matter what. Even if it's just a friendly, I think it's important because it's important to show what you're about, what you can do. But this one, I would like to win the group. But if we finish second, it's fine. It's still decent. But I think it's still an important game that we still need to win.
I think the frustrating thing comes as well because we were robbed massively in that Sociedad game. Granted, on one hand, you look at it and you think we should have put 5 or 6 past them, we should be that good. On the other hand, you think, dodgy penalty, and we find ourselves chasing the leaders. But looking at the presser as well, so I only managed to catch a little bit of Erik ten Hag's presser today that he did alongside Christian Eriksen, which usually when a player sort of comes along to the presser with the manager, it's a sign that they will be playing. So Christian Eriksen should be back into the first team again, which is nice after missing a couple of games with injury and sort of coming off from the bench. Now, there was a lot of questions obviously asked about Cristiano Ronaldo. This was a big talking point, and Erik ten Hag, to his credit, sort of backhanded the press, didn't allow them to discuss it more than the matter is closed, case closed, it's all sorted. This Ronaldo situation sort of is looming over Manchester United at the minute, and it has been since he walked off in that last game against Tottenham Hotspur. Do you think Ronaldo is going to be back in the starting lineup, and do you think he deserves a place in the starting lineup? Starting with you, Dwight.
See, ironically, I had this exact same conversation with a good fellow Liverpool supporter, and he says, United fans are heavily disrespecting Ronaldo due to him not getting in the lineup. And I understand people's frustration when you've got a player of Ronaldo's quality on the bench. But realistically, this season, we've done better without him. I'm not saying he's an awful player. I'm not saying, we shouldn't. But personally, I believe he should leave in January. We've played better without him. We've won more games without him. I think to save his own career and to save himself from any more drama, let's say, I think we should get rid in January and bring in someone that someone that wants to play. And I'm not saying Ronaldo doesn't want to play for United, but he's very unhappy.
Yeah,
I think he should leave in January. And, we should get someone else. I mean, I love him. He'll go down as a United legend. But I think it's best for everyone involved, for all parties involved, if Ronaldo gets a move out of United in January and United bring in someone else. I think that's going to be the best for everyone involved, really.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Tom? What are your thoughts on this Ronaldo situation? We'll obviously dive into it a little bit more when we come to the team selection. But going into this game, the shadow of Ronaldo's loomed over us before the Chelsea match, and it's definitely creeping in now after the two have supposedly made up yesterday at Carrington. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Ronaldo, and do you think he deserves a place in the starting lineup?
Yeah, I do, because it's still Ronaldo. I think, we've seen it a lot. No player is ever bigger than the club, regardless of who you are. But then again, regardless of who you are, you're always going to want to play football. If you're a footballer, you're going to want to play football all the time. Even if you're not a footballer, like you're just one of the lads. If you love football, you're going to want to play it all the time, and so you can't kind of argue with him at that fact. But I suppose the fact that he refused to come on as a sub doesn't look good. The fact that he then walked down the tunnel doesn't look good, and he left the ground before all the players got back into the changing rooms, not good again. But suppose it shows that he cares in a way, because he's frustrated that he's not getting game time, he's not playing for Man United. So I think what he needs to start tomorrow, and I think he needs to start because he needs to prove himself. And if he can prove himself, then fair play. But if he goes and plays tomorrow and he's always offside and he's not making the runs, he's not scoring or anything like that, then we need somebody who can do all of that. And in his career, obviously he's done that, but now it's a bit different. It's not the same, is he? But I do think we still need another striker, 100%.
Well, I've made the case, and I know you have as well. I've made the case all season long that we are so much better without Ronaldo in the team. We're more dynamic, we play nicer football, and there's more movement from the front players. Whenever Ronaldo's in the team, it does seem to be a case of just try and get the ball to Ronaldo and let him have a shot or let him do something. We've just got a comment here from Asif as well about Sancho. Sancho is not performing. He should be benched. Garnacho should replace him. Now, Jadon Sancho has really fallen off a cliff. He had a pretty decent start to the campaign. Got that brilliant goal against Liverpool, where he turned Virgil van Dijk into a ski person. It was a brilliant goal. But then I think after that, not getting that call up in the England squad, after that it just sort of he went downhill quite quick. Do you think Sancho needs to be rested for this game, Tom?
Yeah, I do, because, well, in fact, I'm not sure, because this is also a game where he could kind of prove himself, same as Ronaldo. But I think what we've seen this season from Sancho is it's not the Sancho that we've been seeing. We saw at Borussia Dortmund, that we even saw last season. It's just he looks lost every time he gets the ball. He doesn't go forward or take the man on. He goes back. So I kind of think he does start the game to again kind of like prove himself. But then again, does he maybe just need the rest? Does he fatigued or what? We don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, but I think he should be rested.
What do you think on Jadon Sancho, Dwight? And what do you think about his form? And do you have any ideas of what that could be? Why his form has dropped so drastically?
I could be a bit biased here. I mean, I love Jadon Sancho. I think he's absolutely quality. But I don't think he should be playing. I think he needs... I think he just needs some time to himself. There's clearly something wrong with him, because I don't get how you can go from scoring in pre-season, scoring against Liverpool, playing outrageously good, to just dropping like that. I mean, it could be not being called up for England, having a side effect on him. He could be having issues on at home. I don't know, but there's no reason why he was in such good form and then he just stopped. He's literally doing nothing. So I think, going back to what Tom said, obviously he's a footballer, he's going to want to play. I mean, every lad that likes football wants to play, so I understand that. But I don't think he should play. Not till he's either sorted himself out and got over the fact that maybe he's not being called up for England, or he's just started putting in the work. I mean, you can see that he tries, but it's like he's trying in the wrong areas. Mm-hmm. I mean, you see him make them runs, you see him attempt them dribbles, but a simple 1-2 pass would get him that goal or that assist. He's trying too hard in the wrong areas.
There does definitely seem to be a drop-off in his game, and there was a lot of talk about it being family-related and him having family-related issues, and it could simply be something like a mental thing, because the Jadon Sancho that we saw at Borussia Dortmund, and certainly the Jadon Sancho I was really excited about seeing at Old Trafford, they're two completely different people. And he kind of gets a pass for last season in a way because he was under different managers asking very different things from him. But now, I don't know. I think he's under a manager that likes to play really aggressive front foot football, and yet still there's something that's not quite right with him. I hope we get to see the best of Jaden though, but the way things are going, I don't know. I don't know. I can see a lot of people turning on him, which is a shame because he's a great talent. Well, I think we should move on into the team selection for tomorrow. So, this is the team selection that I've gone with. This is, and I will put a quick disclaimer out there. I don't think. Oh, sorry. This is the team that I think will play, not that I want to play. We will get into that. But you guys jump out and if you see anything that you don't like or if you have any disagreements, chuck it out there. But I'm going to obviously start with David De Gea. I'm going to go with Diogo Dalot as well. Diogo has been in fantastic form. He has been really, really good this season. I would like to see him rested for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, which is a controversial view, but I just think that there are times when his performances dip because he looks tired, a bit leggy. So I would like to see maybe Aaron Wan-Bissaka come back into the first team just for this game. I know that he has returned to training. We're still waiting to hear, as far as I'm aware, that whether or not he's been passed fit to play. What do you think about that, boys? Diogo Dalot to be dropped for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Do you think that's a good shout?
Yeah, I think that's a great shout. Yeah, because Dalot is a player that we can't afford to lose, especially now that we've lost Varane for a while. So I think Wan-Bissaka could be a good shout because we haven't seen him for a while. So I would like actually to see him again.
Mm-hmm. With Diogo Dalot, I like him, but I still believe Wan-Bissaka should be our number one right back.
Over Diogo
he's very
Dalot.
Good. Yeah.
That's a bit hard to know.
Wow. I believe that Wan-Bissaka's our number one right back. The only reason he's not playing is what I think you said, George, earlier. Wan-Bissaka's very good on the defence, but he offers nothing going up top, and Ten Hag plays very aggressive football. And that's why I think that's the only reason Dalot is playing a lot more, because he's better on the attack. If Wan-Bissaka improved his attacking game, I'd believe he'd be our number one right back every week.
Yeah, well, Pete's just said he's too poor going forward for me. He might affect the balance of the team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Ten Hag loves an aggressive bunch of lads, and that's why Dalot is playing a lot more over Wan-Bissaka. If Wan-Bissaka improved his attacking area of his game, I'd play him week in, week out without a doubt.
Thing is, I love Dalot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go on, George.
No, sorry, I thought you'd finished. I was going to say I'm with you on a certain level. I love Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I'm one of the few people that will still stand by Aaron Wan-Bissaka to an extent, although I do understand the criticism. But this season, Diogo Dalot has been one of our best players. He has been fantastic. He's had a few dips in form, but I would put that more down to fatigue. But he has really come out firing on all cylinders. And I do think it'd be harsh to drop on a permanent basis Diogo Dalot for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I can't see that happening.
No, I'm not saying drop him. Like I love Diogo Dalot as much as any man, and I think he has been he's been unreal this season. But I think, and I'm with you, Jordan, I'm one of the few people that still like him. But at the end of the day, I think he got to improve his attacking area of his game. If he did that, I think I'd play him over. I'd play him a lot more than he does, at least.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay,
but until then, I don't think he's going to play.
No, that's fair. That's fair. He has got a lot of work to do going forward. Whether or not he gets that time is a different story. There's obviously a lot of reports coming out that he could be back to Crystal Palace in as early as January, and I think that's probably for the best for him. And I hope we just bring in a good replacement, someone like Frimpong, or there was a couple of right backs that we were linked with on a free transfer actually. So hopefully we can bring someone in that is decent to replace him. Just have a quick look at the comments. Anything else there, Tom? Anything else in the comments?
So Peter's put, he's like Bambi on ice going forward defensively. He's like Bambi on ice going forward defensively. He's a beast. And Asif put, how about giving Aaron Wan-Bissaka first half to check his fitness levels and the Eric Ten Hag system adoption?
That's a great point, Asif, actually. Yeah, giving him the first half. Now, there was a game, and I think it was maybe Atletico, or maybe even it was Aston Villa in pre-season. And I thought he was appalling. Like, all our players looked really decent in that game, apart from the second half when he made all the subs, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka was one of them. And yeah, he looked so shaky. And I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think we've seen him since then. I think that was his last game for Man U. So we'll see. I do think he does need another chance and, to show what he can do. But most importantly, it's to give this man, Diogo Dalot, just a little bit more fitness. But that's a great point. Cheers for the comments there, lads. So, obviously, we've lost Rafael Varane. He was injured in the Chelsea game, and I think he's out till after the World Cup, which is such a shame. If he misses the World Cup, that's just awful, because he's been in fantastic form. Now, Harry Maguire is back for this game, supposedly. Now, he was obviously, he's been injured since the last Euro game, missed quite a few games, but he has been back in training since last week. I've still gone, however, with Victor Lindelof to replace Varane. I think it could be one of those where we play the first half with Victor Lindelof and the second half with Harry Maguire. I do think that's what's going to happen. But, Tom, if he is fit and ready, Harry Maguire to start, or would you bring him off? Would you bring Harry Maguire on at half time, or would you literally not even play him at all?
It'd be funny to see him play, to see if he's still terrible. But I suppose why not give him a chance? He might be a different player. We don't know. But again, a game like this, you've got to just give people chances, haven't you? So.
Now, I think the last game that he played or that he started was actually in that defeat to Real Sociedad. I don't think he's played or started since then. So it has been a while. I wouldn't give him the chance. I can see some comments as well. I don't think a lot of people want to give Harry Maguire that chance. Is this the end for Harry Maguire? It might seem obvious, but is this the end for him now? Is this his last season at the club?
Oh yeah, fully. Like, I genuinely believe he's done. Like, I don't think he's a bad defender, but I don't think he's a United defender, should I say? I believe his time's up. He should just leave, go back to a club like Leicester or somewhere along them lines.
No, that's fair enough. Such a shame for him in some ways. It's just not worked out. Certainly these last couple of seasons. There is obviously the rise and fall of Harry Maguire video. Check that out in our playlist, and it sort of details how he came to United on fantastic form. His first season was fantastic, and then it did have a massive drop off. But yeah, I think we're all in agreement. Victor Lindelof to start in the place of the injured Rafael Varane. Now this man, Lucha, has to be Martinez. Right? Probably our best signing, my favourite signing. This man is a beast. Has to be him. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's got to be 100%. I don't see anybody that would start above him, especially from how he's been this season. He's been probably our best player on the pitch. So you got to keep his fitness up. You've got to keep giving him game time. And yeah, I think he needs to start.
I think, other than what Tom just said, there's not much to it. I mean, I can't really say much more, to be honest. He's our best signing. He probably brought the most enjoyment to me as well. I can't say much more than what Tom just said. Really, he's our best player this season. I mean, I'm going to say something that's going to cause a lot of anger now, but I think with his aggression and his ability, he's got the potential to be on a United legend status alongside Rio and Vidic if he stays at the club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's a great shout to be a Vidic regen. To be honest, I don't think that's too controversial. To be honest, based on his opening few games, he's been fantastic. Just got some comments that have come in about giving. I've seen one of them about giving Lucho a rest. Now, it's not a bad shout because, again, this is the similar argument to Diogo Dalot. We do need to start resting our players. There's a lot of congestion. There's a lot of fixtures all come together. Plus the stupidly timed World Cup that is coming up in the next few weeks. Now, is this a game that you could see the return of Lindelof and Maguire?
I mean, it could be, but I don't want it to be because I don't want to ever see that centre-back partnering again. We've had too many nightmares about that already. You know, we've already been there and done that. Don't let us go through it again. You know, Lindelof and Martinez, I can deal with that, but Lindelof and Maguire, please, never again.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
No, it was a horrible time, and we saw it once already. Once already this season in the Real Sociedad game that we ended up losing. So I'm hoping that we don't see it, but it could be the game. Now I'm putting Tyrell Malacia back into the squad for this game. I think Luke Shaw's been absolutely fantastic since he's come back. Shown real determination to get back into the first team. However, again, similar reason, give the man a rest. We still have a fantastic backup in Tyrell Malacia who hit the ground running at the start of the season. But for me, in this game, he's the one to play.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he hit the ground running. He had his fun. You know, he's enjoying life for United, clearly. He's very happy to be here. He fits Ten Hag's system. He's literally the ideal left back. So playing. I mean, I'm happy with Luke Shaw. He's done a job, but I'm happy with Even. I think Malacia needs to, get his fitness back up and start again.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Dog just joined me.
Not a worry. The more the merrier. Get him in the comments. We've also got here. I've got a big one. I've got a comment here from Asif. Rafa is a big mess. A big mess. A big miss. A big miss. Yeah. I was going to say. No, he's a big loss to the team, and it's a difficult one because we always said he's so injury prone. Rafael Varane missed a big chunk of last season as well, and we do need to sort of find a good backup. Maybe Victor Lindelof is that reliable backup. He's been decent since he's come in and had to fill in there. Pete's also put Malacia needs a chance. Just hope he improves going forward. Yeah, very similar comments to what we said about Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, Malacia, let's just change that back. Malacia is miles better going forward than Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but he doesn't offer as much as Luke Shaw, and he doesn't create as much space as Luke Shaw does. But he's young and he has time to develop. But yeah, that's a great point, Pete. Now I'm going for the midfield pairing of Fredodinho and Eriksen. I think Casemiro needs a night off after those heroics at Stamford Bridge. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%.
Yeah.
There's no point playing him in a game like this, even though, the result doesn't really matter as much. I mean, I know it does, but but I think for the type of game, just give him a rest. He deserves it.
He does. What do you think, Boyd?
I mean, Tom's pretty much hit the nail on the head. I don't have much more to add. I mean, after his heroics at the Bridge, getting that last-minute equaliser, he played well against Tottenham. Just rest him. I mean, the result does matter in some ways, but it's not something that we should, desperately go for the win for. We can settle with a draw if needed. But other than that, I'd give him a rest and play Ericsson and Fred.
Yeah, and as well, you don't know what you're going to get with Fred. Fred's sort of he's just all over the place, isn't he? So erratic. One minute you get a fantastic performance out of him that we saw against Tottenham Hotspur, where he sort of ran the show, got my man of the match in the player ratings, absolutely tore him to pieces. And then you saw the shambolic performance that we saw against Chelsea when he came on. I thought he was absolute tripe when he came on. So hopefully we'll get prime Fred back. But this man Christian Eriksen made the difference in so many games in midfield, and yeah, I hope he's the man to start up there with him. Now Bruno Fernandes obviously in that 10 role. What do you guys think?
Yeah. That's an obvious one.
I think we're all agreed on that one. This man needs a rest as well. He's another player that you look at and you think, when are we going to sort of see? Well, that's actually a good point. This is actually a good point to bring it up now. In his presser today, Erik ten Hag was asked about who's fit and who isn't. And now Donny van de Beek, he has said, is back in training, etc., etc., could be fit for this game. Is this a game that we could see Donny van de Beek starting, or do you think this is going to be a half-time sub if we're 3 or 4 up?
I love Donny van de Beek. I love him. Like, I think he's got so much potential, and he's relatively young still. Well, he's 24, I think. He's got so much potential, but I just don't. I hope Ten Hag gets it out of him. I really do, because he's got the ability. He can play anywhere in the midfield. Just hope he gets something out of him. And this would be I wouldn't say an easy game, but it'd be a game to start him off, sort of thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think he needs to have his chance, because it's not fair. He came to United. We had expectations, and we haven't seen enough of him. So last season he was on loan at Everton. I didn't really see much of him then, but I think he needs to be given his chance. There's no point in having a football player if you're just gonna sit him on the bench, or not even put him on the bench. What's the point? You might as well let him play his football somewhere else. So he needs to be given a chance, because I like Donny, and I think he's definitely got it in his locker. So I would like to see him tomorrow. That would be something I'd want to see.
I think as well, just a quick point. I think a lot of United fans are saying Sally, get rid. But similar to what Tom said,
we don't really know what he's capable of.
He hasn't had his chance to prove himself. We literally signed him, and he's done very little but sit on the bench. He hasn't had the game or the minutes to prove himself at the club. He come on off the bench, the last 5-10 minutes. What's he going to do in that short period of time?
Yeah, I mean, even if you play Donny, you could even put Donny as sort of play him in as an 8 and maybe put Eriksen as a 10. And have Fred, Donny, and Eriksen as the midfield 3. That could work. I wouldn't mind seeing that in a game like Sheriff. Certainly if we're already 2 or 3 up. I've just got some comments that have come through. Pete says Bruno or Donny if he's fit. Yeah. And Asiv's put Eriksen, Fred, and Casa to start with. Bruno needs a rest badly. The problem I've got with the fixture pile up and obviously Eric's desire to win is that we are going to start losing players quick. There's a stupid congestion of fixtures this year, which is no one's fault other than FIFA's for having the World Cup, when they've had it. But we also have to adapt to that, and I don't think we have yet. We need to be better in that. So I do think if Donny's fit, Donny should start this game, personally. But based on the fact that we don't know, I'm going with Bruno. I think we all agreed there.
Yeah.
Now, the front 3, there could be some controversial decisions here, boys. Right? But I'll explain. Obviously, Anthony, fantastic start, been great, enjoyed everything that he's done. And for me, he has to start this one again. I don't think we've really got too much in terms of manoeuvrability and who can play in his position, so it kind of has to be him. What do you guys think? Do you think Anthony should have a rest, or do you think this is a game he starts in?
I think he should play, but not the full 90. Maybe give him one half. We have no depth in that position, so Anthony got to play. Worst case scenario, like, we put, I don't know, Sancho out on the right instead of the left, or Rashford goes out right. But I think 45 minutes, first half, get him off, and then let him rest for the second.
Yeah. I think I've said it before, that this is the type of game where it's the time for him to show us what we don't normally see. We need to see players that we don't normally see, like Garnacho, Zidane, Iqbal, and just them youngsters. We need to see them because they're supposed to be the future of this club. So, and I think we've seen him play a couple of times before, especially Iqbal, and he seems pretty good. And so does what's his name, Charlie Savage.
Yeah.
Charlie Savage. He seems pretty good.
Just a shame he doesn't. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, so I think another one, Charlie Savage. I'd like to see him. Definitely Garnacho, because I think he's an unreal player. Garnacho is. But Anthony, yeah, I kind of agree to give him a half or so, and then let the kids run around, depending on the scoreline and how the game's actually going.
I think though, we've heard this kind of discussion before in the Ammonia game. We sort of all said, let the kids have a run around, let the kids play, and I think a lot of us thought we were going to walk over Ammonia and be 3 or 4-0 up at half time and then let the kids jump in. That didn't happen. Do you think it's wise to play the kids in the first half at 0-0 and sort of let them try and break a team down, or do you think we should bring them on if we're already winning? Because I've seen a lot of mixed views on this.
I think first half.
I think playing the full 90, because as daft as it sounds, it's the kids, they've got a fresh mindset, the younger, the quicker, that they can move quicker. I'm not saying the starting 11 aren't good or anything like that, but I think in a game like that, it'd be perfect for the kids to show us what they can do. So I think, give them a good. I wouldn't say rest all the starting 11, but give, with no Varane, maybe give a young centre back a chance. Rest Diego Dallo.
What's that centre back's name? That young centre back we've got.
No, that's what I was going to say. He's on loan. He is.
Do you mean Mengi? I think he was the captain of the youth team of the under-21s. Mengi, I think his name is.
Yeah. He's every time I've seen him play, he's good quality, and he's put in the right shift.
Yeah, he's a good player.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm not saying replace all the starting 11. Just give, I don't know, Casemiro needs to rest. Put Charlie Savage on. Give him half an hour, 45 minutes. Anthony needs to rest. Play Garnacho. Replace a few of them. Give them the rest, but give the kids the chance to prove themselves, to get on that bench, or to prove that they've got something for the future.
I must admit, Pete's made another good point. We did bring this up earlier, obviously, about Sheriff. They did beat Real Madrid last season, I think it was. So it's a tough game, but we beat them 2-0. I thought it was quite a comfortable performance. As well, Asif's asked about any updates on Martial. Now, I think Martial is injured again for this game. I'm sure Martial now is not back until after the World Cup. Again, I could be wrong there. That was something that I did read earlier today, that Martial will be out until at least January, which is again a big loss. He's not played in about 95% of the season, which is mad. But we move, and it actually segues nicely into the most controversial one yet. Anthony Elanga to start this game.
I like him. I think they should, because the Chelsea game, when he came off for Jadon Sancho, he did in 10 minutes what Sancho couldn't do the whole game.
Yeah, that's exactly the reason I put him in. Yeah.
Why not? He proved that, coming on for the Chelsea game why he should start with Sancho. And if he's coming out and giving us performances like he did against Chelsea within 10 minutes, then he needs to start.
I'm just baffled. Like, Alanga's so unpredictable for me. I like him one week and I don't like him the next. Like, Chelsea played unreal. But then, if we play him tomorrow, he could be absolutely awful. I love him, but I just don't think he's just quite there yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think, give him that bit more. I think with Ten Hag's mentality, if he can keep it, I think Alanga starts every week. I just think currently he's too unpredictable. You never know what you're going to get with him.
I think Sancho is though, and I still think Alanga starts over Sancho.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think when you look at what Sancho offers...
Yeah, I think the only reason Sancho starts week in, week out, even on bad form, is his price tag.
And what he could potentially do.
Yeah.
Well, and again, if we're talking about price, we're looking at things like Maguire. He would cost £80 million. He hasn't started in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying with the price tag. I just think Erik Ten Hag isn't about that. I think he'll start who he thinks working in that position.
I mean, he didn't make that statement at the start, did he?
Ashley said, what if we go down with kids in the team? We will miss out on the chance to take top group spot.
Now, I think this is something a lot of people have overlooked, is that if we lose this game, then that's top spot gone, even if we beat Sociedad. Sociedad will more than likely beat Ammonia, who haven't won in the Europa League this season. And I think that fixture pile-up could be so devastating to not only Europa League progression, but also our Premier League top 4 hopes. Because it's a lot of fixtures. I think we have to play an additional 2 matches if we finish second to qualify, to get sort of, we'll get a harder team, potentially further travel.
I would rather us finish top spot. Obviously, it's not the end of the world if we do get second. But, it's one of them. I don't know. I just want us to win something.
Yeah, you would have been out to win something again.
Just to see Man United lift a trophy.
And not something,
and not the
Bangkok trophy.
I was going to say, boys, how could you forget about that amazing trophy we won? We beat the Scousers
That's in Man United history. That's in Man United history.
And that's why Erik Ten Hag is the GOAT. He's won more trophies this season than Klopp.
Exactly.
Yeah, but Klopp's a fraud.
Klopp. Oh, we'll have to have a podcast about that one day about Liverpool, because it's just it's really sad, isn't it, watching their demise?
It's great.
Sorry, but last season they were loving it when we were getting absolutely destroyed by every team. So now, this season, I'm absolutely loving it that they're getting destroyed by every single team.
No, it does. You know what it's like? I think it's really sad, the downfall of that club.
Do you know what it's like on the weekend to watch Nottingham Forest beat Liverpool? That was, I cheered like I supported them.
Do you know what it's like? You know what it's like living with Liverpool supporters?
I wouldn't put myself in that position, to be honest.
He's not a real Man United fan. Like, a real Man United fan wouldn't live with Liverpool supporters.
Oh yeah, I'll just go homeless, shall
I? I would.
If you had United in your heart.
If that was the choice, yes. Absolutely. But yeah, back onto Manchester United, a team that is flying at the moment. We're not talking about relegation fodder at the minute, and I'm not talking about Nottingham Forest there. We are going to talk about the big boys. This is a big boy channel, so we're going to move on to the return of the GOAT, Cristiano Ronaldo. CR7 returns for this game, and it's a big test for him. to sort of... he has really divided the fan base. I have never seen one player cause as much drama as Cristiano Ronaldo since his return to Manchester United. And you're seeing a lot of... I wouldn't call them United fans, but you're seeing a lot of people calling out Erik ten Hag. You're seeing a lot of even big ex-former players really going in on Ten Hag and taking Ronaldo's side on this drama that's unfurled. Graham Souness is the latest clown to come out and berate Ten Hag. Not that we really care too much about what that dinosaur thinks, but isn't it interesting?
Said Paul today.
Well, look at what he was like with Paul Pogba when he said, Paul Pogba thinks he's bigger than the club, and he would never let someone like that in his team. And then all of a sudden, this happens with Ronaldo, and he's pulled every excuse out of the bag to protect him.
Me, Roy Keane is also in my head in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
The only person who seems to be very neutral about from a fan's perspective is Gary Neville.
Yeah.
Roy Keane, mate, he's delusional. Right? He's off his head. He's losing his mind. Looking at him.
I'm
I
really
love Roy
shocked at Roy
Keane,
Keane, of all people.
Yeah, I love Roy Keane as much as any United fan. I think he's one of the greats, but he just lately he's beginning to wind me up with the comments. He's literally finding any excuse he can to defend Ronaldo's actions. Like, I'm not saying it's all Roy Keane. You have other ex-footballers saying the same. It's just ridiculous at the moment.
So Pete's put here, bench him and play Rashford. Erik ten Hag needs to stamp his authority and keep him sat on his horse. I love Ronaldo, but he needs to understand no one is bigger than their team. That's a fantastic point, Pete. But do you think... Now, I've seen a few posts about this, and I have commented on a few posts, that Erik ten Hag has already done that. He has already stamped his authority, booted him out of our biggest game, one of our biggest games of the season against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. That was a massive decision to do that. Do you think he punishes him further by making him sit on the bench? Do you think he should? That's my question.
No, I think him, because he also made him train on his own, didn't he? He didn't train with the first team. So I think he's had his punishments. Now is his time to go and prove to the manager why he shouldn't be sitting on the bench.
Yeah, I fully agree with that.
I've got Asif as well. I don't agree with people who say we have won more games without CR7. How many games has he started? Remember the Everton game? He earned us the point. Yeah, he did earn us all 3 points in that game. He needs a proper start to get into his rhythm. Now, the only issue I've got with... It's not even against Ronaldo, and I will reiterate it because I've said this on previous podcasts, that Ronaldo isn't always to blame. It's not like he misses sitter after sitter. But the team around him plays so differently when he's in the squad. And I don't think we play to his strengths, and I don't think he plays to the players around him's strength. So I think it's the most beneficial thing to do is to just let him go in January if a club comes calling, which obviously didn't happen in the summer. But to say that we are better with Ronaldo, or we win more games with Ronaldo, I don't think statistically that this season that's a thing. He was our top goal scorer last year, but it was also in a season that was our worst season in Premier. I think it was in Premier League history. It was our worst season. So I can't blame it all on Ronaldo, but it does have an impact on the way we play, and he does have an impact on those around him, and I don't think it's a positive impact. But in this kind of game, I do think Erik ten Hag has shown his authority, and he has put his foot down and said, you are not bigger than the club or the team. And I do see the GOAT returning for this one. Pete's also put, it's the way we play with him. The team doesn't suit, he doesn't suit Erik ten Hag's system. And now Erik ten Hag seems to like the more dynamic striker, like someone like Marcus Rashford, who can play on the flanks and also down the middle. Martial has thrived in the 3 games that he's played for Ten Hag this season, and I think once you get Anthony Martial fit and firing, we'll see less of Cristiano Ronaldo. He seems to be very much an impact sub. But it's a very interesting discussion, this, because I'm just baffled by the ex-pros that have come out to defend him when they were the first ones to call every other player out that's done something like this. So I just find that quite fascinating, to be honest. But let's go with our score predictions then, lads. We'll wrap the stream up in the next few minutes. It's been about an hour. So what do you guys think? Score predictions for tomorrow.
I'm probably going to go 2-0. I don't see us battering them, but I see us getting an easy, comfortable win. Just on the fact of, our finishing is awful. So I'd say 2-0, no more.
I agree with that. I agree. I think 2-0, I think we'll see a goal from Rashford if he starts. And hopefully a goal from Eriksen. Yet to see one of those.
Or Fred. I'll start Fred scoring.
Yeah.
It's Fred, isn't it?
Everyone loves a Fred goal. It's like, Christmas, isn't it? It just comes around once a year and we're all happy.
When Fred scores, it's like every time he scores, it's the Champions League final.
Yeah, it's like
crazy.
he's just scored, he's just won United the Champions League on his own.
Asif predicts 3-0.
3-0 for Massive. That's good. I've seen some people on Twitter as well that have posted in a poll we did earlier 4-0s and 5-0s. I don't think it's going to be as easy as that. I got Pete here 4-0 and a dominant performance. It's all about getting that first goal, and we said it every single game. If Man United get that early goal, we can tear teams apart this season.
Yeah.
That's what I was just about to say. If we get an early goal, then that's it. It's done for.
Yeah.
It's just we always seem to wait till 90th minute.
I just put Gakpo banging in goals and assists, get him January. And Pete's put underneath it. I love Gakpo, but the board won't pay the money. Now, I fully agree with both of them. Like, Cody Gakpo is banging in the goals. I mean, no other player's got more goals than assists. But obviously, GlazersOut, they will not pay the money that PSV want for him.
So the rumour, obviously, with him is that the release clause is only around 30 to 40 million euros. Now, go out and get him.
Yeah,
Even
definitely.
if he flops.
I'd already be doing the papers.
I know, yeah, I'd be doing the papers ready for, 1st of January, just get him signed and flew over.
Yeah. Well, this, we got to change the name of this channel to the Gakpo Budget Podcast, because I love the guy. I'm absolutely buzzing that we've been
Is there actually a budget for Gakpo at United?
Oh, that's the next
GlazersOut.
article. That's the next article. Hey, lads, I think we are winning by 3 goals, to be honest. I like the optimism from you guys. And, I mean, get that early goal, we could win 4 or 5. I don't know. I just don't know what to expect from this Man United team other than a dominant performance at the minute, which is nice to see, as opposed to sort of sideways passing. But it's going to be interesting to see who plays and if he goes with a more pragmatic approach or if he decides to rest players and try and grind out a victory. But yeah, I think 2-0s from all of us. We've got 3-0s and 4-0s in the comments. We will be back tomorrow. I'll certainly be back tomorrow straight after the game to do the player reviews and player scores. And hopefully I'll be very happy if we go close to the top of the table again. Got some more comments coming in here. He'll end up at Leeds or Southampton with Gakpo. I can see that happening. I can see him going to Leeds, banging it in for Leeds, and then we sign him off Leeds for double or triple the price in a year or two's time. That's how our model is at the moment. And Asis put, what do you guys think to face a team like City with the current form we are in as 6-3 loss? We made tactical mistakes in that City game. Tactical mistakes. And I don't think it's going to happen again. Next time we play him, Erik Ten Hag's too clever for that. I can't see it being a 6-3.
Don't jinx us.
Next time we play him is at Old Trafford, and I swear to God, if we beat them at Old Trafford, I'll go mad. I'll post me nudes on my shoestring Twitter.
You heard that, guys. I think this is the only time we're all praying for a City win now.
Come on, City.
I just
Well-
think City are going to lose like that. It's just unreal. He's just going to score every fucking game.
I don't know. They kind of got battered last night by Dortmund.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they drew 0-0. That's only because Paul got subbed off.
Yeah, but the first half, they didn't have a shot on target to Dortmund's Dortmund had like 5.
In the Champions League, they haven't been playing the best, you know. They've been sort of leaving it till late to get a winner and
Yeah,
seeing out a couple of draws.
now the John. Nothing.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Right, boys, thank you as ever for joining me. Thank you to everyone in the comments as well, and thanks to everyone that's watching. And yeah, please get subscribing, get sharing. Let's get some more subscribers down, and we'll see you tomorrow for the player review. But thanks, guys. Have a good one.